The ANC Interim Provincial Committee in the Northwest has temporarily suspended the membership of Premier Jacob Mokgoro. He continues to insist he hasn't been told about the suspension. A committee says Mokgoro and 4 others voted with the opposition in the provincial legislature. The ANC Chief Whip will now supervise Mokgoro in key decision-making.
That's right, Shirtolago. A major announcement has been made here in Mahikeng that the Premier and other members of the party have been suspended for defying the party's orders in terms of the election of the chair of chairs. But joining us now is the coordinator of the IPC here in the Northwest. Of course, that's Mr. Hlomane Chauke. So, sir, thank you so much indeed. Maybe just once again take us through to the very major announcement that you have made. What precipitated this?
Well, obviously, I think we all know that when we deploy comrades at the level of the legislature, we deploy them as a unit. And therefore, there's no individual that stands or represents their own views there. Always when they are deployed, there's a party mandate that gets carried. This includes, in fact, the implementation of the manifesto of the African National Congress in government, including the mandate that we give them to ignite laws and to vote for whatever that they've resolved. So central, there's what we call the caucus of the African National Congress that operates both for government and members of the legislature. Premier being a member of caucus, including all members of the ANC are deployed in the caucus where they discuss, agree on approaches on a number of things. Here, obviously, the situation is that the 5 that we have already said that we have referred them to DC.
And just going forward now, so it's a suspension. For example, in the case of the Premier, the Chief Whip is going to be a central player in terms of supervision and consulting the party. But how is it going to work?
Well, generally is that we have communicated of what we expect, and especially on the announcement that will have to be done by the Premier without really interfering with him. There are certain areas that the party will have an interest on. Hence, we are saying that everything will have to work with the collective at the ESCO, meaning that the study group of the ANC in that at ESCO level will have to work very hard closer and look at issues of the party and the party interest in that regard, because currently the individual's membership is suspended. And therefore, it's important, based on the constitution of the ANC, we're dealing with him as an individual, without really interfering with his constitutional powers, but regulate areas that we as the party feel very strong, including attendance to the legislature. The Chief Whip becomes very central because activities of the legislature are directed at the level of the ANC by the Chief Whip, including members of the ANC who are in the legislature. So that is very important, because without that caucus led by the Chief Whip, you then find a situation where individuals do as they please, because the center at the level of that office is being undermined.